originated from a boundless queendom. Royalty reigns in my family. My that comes oh so naturally, so homage is paid to this majesty. I was birthed into this greatness. I bathe in it to stay steady. My divine purpose was purchased with precious blood before conception, therefore I was born ready. Unlike Celie, I was groomed to be a winner as a beginner, like her sister Nettie. I'm the quiet storm behind you. I rain down before you ever notice me. You just happen to look up in my verses, be dropping like a plague of words from God's rotary. We be chatting about my passions. I speak them in spirit and in truth. He has anointed and endowed me with the spirits of Mary, Esther, and Ruth. He handpicked me.
You are now tuned in to Everyday People Radio on Intellectual Radio and iHeart Radio Station. Welcome. I am so glad you're here and inviting us into your time and space. We appreciate you. Please give us a call. The number is 708-223-8953. Again, that's 708-223-8953. Today I have two amazing guests. Frederick Tapley and Ashley Tapley. Before we get into the show, I just want to take a little time and reintroduce myself. My name is April Deshawn. Again, this is Everyday People Radio Show. Here we're all about love and connecting with people, with everyday people, with you. We just want to connect with you, get to know you, allow you to get to know us. I am not only the host of this show, I'm also an artist. So I perform poetry, as well as host various events in Chicago. So you guys can contact me. My contact information is on my Facebook page, so you can hit me up on Facebook as April Deshawn, and you can hit me up there. I do have 4 fabulous children, one of which was taught by Mr. Frederick Tapley, and we are so in love with him. He is so awesome. He and his wife are amazing. They have a beautiful child. They are the most awesome people ever, but you're going to find out. You're going to find out. It's all good. So this is February, Valentine's Day. It's all about Black history and love. So today the show is on love and marriage and children and kids and everything. So I just went ahead and looked up Valentine's Day, like why did Valentine's Day start? What was it about? And it derives from a famous saint. Excuse me. It derives from a famous saint. You know, there are various stories about who he was. The popular belief is that it was Saint Valentine's. He was a priest from Rome in the 3rd century after Christ in AD. Emperor Claudius II banned marriages because he thought married men were bad soldiers. Valentine felt that this was unfair, so he broke the rules and arranged marriages in secret. When Claudius found out, Valentine was thrown in jail and sentenced to death. While he was in jail, he fell in love with the jailer's daughter. He was taken to be killed on February 14th, and he sent her a love letter. On the love letter, he signed, "From your Valentine." And that's kind of how Valentine's Day got started. People started wanting to use this signature to give to their loved ones, people who they loved. My 2 cents, my little thoughts added to this. It doesn't have to necessarily be romantic love for Valentine's Day. It could be a family member or children. For me, myself, I used to get my kids little stuffed animals and things like that for Valentine's Day when they were younger. So you can always do that. And I'm going to go ahead and do a little piece for you guys. This piece is called Love is a Verb. Contrary to popular belief, love is an action. I love you, so I tell you. I hug you and kiss you. I call you and text you. I write you love letters and poetry that provide reflections of me. I love you, so I want you close. When I reference you, my preference is to use capital letters because you are important to me. I want you happy. I want to see you succeed, even if it's not with me. As parents, we are mindful. We watch and discipline our children. We don't want to see them hurt themselves or others. We don't want to see them in negative situations, and so we scold them. But we also rock and hold them. And we pray to God to help us as we mold them because we love them and we care. Now, some say love is a wonderful thing. And some will also say that love hurts. Both of these are true. The lessons of love can hurt bad. But to me, love is not brutal. It can also mend. Love is not vindictive and spiteful. Love is not manipulative and angry. It can also bring joy. Love does not intentionally put others down, cause pain, or stunt growth. Love promotes, it builds, encourages, endures. Love respects. And love is not blind, not so blind, although sometimes it does cover its eyes. It watches patiently and takes its time. So, though there's mistakes, sometimes love does wait. So, the things that you think that love does not see, it does. Let's take the example of him. He stretched out his arms and gave his life for us, shed blood, died, and then came back for us. He pours his spirit among us because he loves us. So if you were worried about where you've been or what you did, or if you were worthy of forgiveness, baby, believe me, he is a living God. If you were worried about where you've been or what you did, or if you were worthy of forgiveness, baby, don't worry. He is a living God. So trust me and believe me when I tell you that love is not just a feeling or an emotion. It's not just what you say, but it's also what you do. Love is a verb, and that's that piece. We're going to do a little poetry break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk to Mr. and Mrs. Frederick Tapley. And you guys get ready for some awesome information. You're going to learn about Tap Into Music. Tap Into Music is an awesome program. You guys listen up, enjoy the art.
To endure. I pray, Father, that you bless them as they gain a closer walk with you in the midst of haters, home wreckers, backbiters, and every enemy that comes to try and destroy them. God, I thank you, Lord Jesus, that we cancel the assignment of the enemy.
Don't let nobody tell you you ain't wife material. You're a royal priesthood, queen, imperial. Be who God made you to be with no apology. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. That's called kingdom biology. God says, acknowledge me. Put him first before you let any man get to your psychology. You're a price far above rubies. It's not the price tag, it's the quality. God wants to invade your space where your logic be with heavenly ecology. You're not limited to a pay wage, family, background, environment, or where your college be. So don't be defined by Brazilian weave and cosmetology. Generosities of grace shall abound you. Favor goes to the man who found you. You're called that good thing. Melodious notes should stream from your man's heart as if he could sing. You deserve a distinguished gentleman. Royalty don't do the hood thing. Your man is supposed to be known in the gates. That means he stands with stood kings. He's not a bum or a popper, but wait. If he got potential, don't write him off if he's between gigs. Don't rebuke the tree right away before you even seen leaves or seen figs. Just remember your worth, and your worth is far above rubies. That is, if you're virtuous. So let's see if you acquired your Proverbs 31 duties. No need to listen to your miserable friends, talk shows, or any other. Turn off the phone and social media. Let's listen to Lemuel's mother. Lemuel's mother. See, that's proof you ain't read the chapter. Read the attributes of a virtuous woman and start implementing the factors. She's loyal to her man, whether he's wealthy or between blessings. She's a go-getter, an entrepreneur, and cares for her home with discretion. She opens her mouth with wisdom. Her tongue is a law of kindness. That means her mouth was not a garbage truck. She's sweet.
Welcome back. You're on the air. This is Everyday People Radio Show on Intellectual Radio, an iHeart Radio station. I'm April Deshawn, your host. I have guests for you. Awesome people of God. Frederick Tapley and Ashley Tapley, Mr. and Mrs. Tapley. So we're going to go ahead and get this interview started. Family and friends, you guys can give us a call. The number is 708-223-8953. Again, that's 708-223-8953. Give us a call, interact with us, ask questions, give out some encouragement, whatever it is in your spirit you feel to do. We are open. Again, one more time, that number 708-223-8953. Hi, guys.
Hey,
I'm so glad you made it.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
So sweet.
I gotta work on my microphone etiquette.
You're good. So, Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and start with you. You get the first question. Ladies first.
Oh,
Queens first. Beauties first. Okay. What was your maiden name?
Logan.
Logan.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Logan. And my dad, he did not want me to. He wanted me to do the whole Logan hyphen Tapley because he didn't quite want to let me go. But yeah, Logan. Was a Logan up until the age of 29. That's when we got married. So we kind of waited late in the game. We were trying to get married, I think, a couple of years before that, like in 2012. But God kind of said, hold off on that. Wait a minute. So, but I was very excited to take on the name Tapley. This is the love of my life. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
What was it like for you growing up as a little girl? Can you tell us about your parents and your siblings?
Well, parents is a little interesting. My mother, she passed away when I was 10 years old. So I took care of her for a couple of years. She was diagnosed with cancer. And so, I was just the kind of type where I was a superhero child, had to take care of the brothers. And I have an older sister who has a disability. So definitely had to really man things down while Pops was away. And, my parents, they split up. Basically, they separated in death. So my mother passed away. And when they said they were about 18, 19, they said, baby, till death do us part. Death really did do them part. So, I honor my parents just in that fact, in that facet that they held on, even though they had their troubles, they didn't divorce. Death really did do them part. So, yeah, my childhood was just a lot of go, take care of the kids and go to school and really put, everybody, ahead of, your needs, as a child, you have to take care of others. So I was always that mother goose, come on, y'all, let's go. Or, when I was in school, I was always a leader and I was always the one that would look out for everybody, even going to college, like, I'm going to come to the party, but I'm the designated adult here. So you give me that drink here. And they used to call me Sister Mary Clarence for real because they said, oh, you just a goody two-shoe. But, I matured young, just even in thought concerning life. And so, that was pretty much, how I was brought up, but there are a lot of sickness, a lot of pain. So I'm very well acquainted with pain and sickness and loss and death. So that's what my heart is always out for people. Hey, you know what? God can take care of you. It's not over. It's not too late. So yeah, that was my childhood.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's very strong. I can identify with that. Because when I was younger, I took care of all my cousins. I have no biological brothers and sisters, so I always adopt brothers and sisters. So I have nieces that are not my biological nieces and nephews, but my cousins. I grew up basically from a young child, like 7, helping raise them and stuff like that. So I definitely understand. And I could talk to one of my uncles, and every time I talk to him, for some reason, we get into whatever type of discussion, and he'd be like, okay, Pastor April.
Uh-oh.
I'm like, I'm not a pastor. You stop. So I get that. How your friends tell you you're.
It made me a minister, honestly, at a young age. It set me up for my assignment in the kingdom because even now we're second in commands at our church. Behind our parents, we had to really get behind them, really push them, take care of them, make sure everything was provided, needs were provided. Although it was a painful process, it prepared us for destiny. So I had to ask God. I said, well, God, why did my mother have to die? Why did she have to leave the earth? I was only 10 years old. And the Lord showed me, I was the one that had to deliver that word to her, like, Mommy, I don't want you to die. So it's basically just a word to warn her, like, whatever's going on, Mommy, get it together. I said in my own house, but it prepared me to be the type of person that would just give the word and not draw back to anybody, to be God's servant and not somebody that's just going to take care of my own, initiatives, my own desires, So, people of God are trained in pain. And so, we have to understand that God is there with us in the process. But even Christ was acquainted with pain, but it all produces love. And that's what today is all about, just the power of love. But it's not just love, it's pain that drives the love and the passion for what you do. So, Amen. God is good.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Woo.
Yeah.
Got you a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Good
It's
job.
my baby right here. I had to snatch this one up. I was like, ain't nobody else getting this one. This is mine.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Put your step on it, Tapley.
He did. We
baby,
tried. It was just like,
yeah.
Then one day I looked at him. I said, you know what?
We got a story behind that.
Okay, y'all gonna have a chance to tell it. First, I want you to tell us about your childhood, growing up with your parents and your siblings.
Let's see. Grew up in Hazel Crest, grew up in the suburbs. My childhood, some of the things that stick out was traveling. I love to travel now. I remember taking road trips to Oklahoma to see my aunt get married. I know a lot of times the men, we would travel to Michigan, hang out with our cousins and get a little log cabin and just roast marshmallows, clown, pillow fights, wrestle. A lot of time with family. I appreciate that because I believe that time with family actually builded me up and shaped me up into my belief system now, because now I'm all about family. Like this one right here, my little boy, I don't play about him. If you do him wrong, I'm gonna cut you. My inner thug is gonna come out.
Okay.
Like warrior princess.
All right.
The eye of the tiger.
Beautiful. Sound like you have a good foundation going on here. That's amazing. That's awesome. So tell us about your childhood as like elementary age. What did you envision your life to be as an adult, Mr. Tapley?
Man, elementary school, I was the class clown. I was the one always getting kicked out of class. I had really good grades. I was at the top of my class, but I was always getting kicked out. I just could not be still. I'm cracking jokes. I'm distracting somebody else. But I knew that education was important. I love school, especially from kindergarten all the way up until, about 6th grade. That was a time where I was in love with school. I didn't play. I was up all night studying as a little boy. I went to, I'm blessed that I had an opportunity to go to the school that was connected to our church. So I grew up at Salem Baptist Church, and they had a Christian school that was attached to it. So very rigorous curriculum. They didn't play. You were going to be up. I'm in 4th grade. I'm up until like 9, 10 o'clock at night doing homework sometimes over the break. I remember my 4th grade teacher gave us this big old thick packet to do. She we got to keep you busy. We got to keep them brains working in elementary school, and I always found myself to be the teacher's pet. So
your teacher basically paid attention. She saw you were the clown, but she saw that intellect going on up there.
Smart.
So
very smart.
That's beautiful. So you said you were loving school until 6th grade. What happened in 6th grade that
6th
changed?
grade, I switched schools to go to a school in the neighborhood, and it's kind of stressful or traumatic sometimes when you're growing up with this set of kids. You've known them for all these years, and then you switch churches, you switch schools. It was just kind of like, man, I got to start my life all over again. So I went through a time of trying to find myself again, because you feel comfortable when you've been with people all your life. It's like we were like family, so I went to a school in the neighborhood. It was a good school, it was good people around me. But then I got introduced to bullying. I got introduced to all types of stuff, cussing and fighting.
Now, you were introduced to bullying. Were you the bully or were you getting bullied?
I was getting bullied.
Okay.
Man. So when I was a little boy, I used to suck my 2 fingers. So I had these huge, gigantic teeth that used to stick out my mouth.
I love my baby teeth.
And man,
teeth,
when I say they used to clown me.
I love your teeth.
Man, it used to go down. And I used to come home and I would be upset. I was like, man, I just feel so alone. I made friends, because I was still a class clown. People rally around the class clown. Oh man, this dude is a clown. He's funny. He makes me laugh. Let's be friends. You know how it is when you're a little kid. But then on the other side, a lot of times bullies, they're just jealous. There's something that they're jealous about, or they feel victimized in some way, so they have to put this out on somebody else.
Right.
So that was my experience, getting around 6th grade and even going into middle school. Middle school was really rough.
Oh yeah, middle school was very rough.
So what would you say to someone who's being bullied and someone who's actually a bully right now? What advice would you give them, having gone through that?
Definitely, stand your ground. Stand your ground and tell somebody. A lot of times, especially now, and it's so sad that you hear about these kids that commit suicide and you find out that it's because they've been bullied, and nobody, knows, because people do it in a sneaky way.
Yeah.
You can get bullied with somebody sitting right next to you in class. They could be pinching you, punching you, scribbling on your paper, all types of stuff. People can do it in a real sneaky way, so nobody else might not even know that you're getting bullied. So I would say, speak up about it. Tell somebody. It's so important to communicate, because when you communicate, like the older folks say, I can deal with the truth, but if you tell me a lie, there's nothing I can do with it. Or if you withhold information from me, you can't do anything. So, this is for the kids that's getting bullied. Stand up for yourself and tell somebody. Tell an adult, tell your teacher, tell your parents. Look, this is what's going on. Don't worry about, hey man, they gonna think I'm a punk and this. No, your life is at stake.
Yeah.
You're a child. Your life is at stake. Say something.
Yeah.
And what would you say to the children who are actually doing the bullying?
They need to talk to somebody too, because nobody just wakes up and say, hey, I'm gonna be a bully. Obviously there's something that happened, or there's something on the inside that makes them want to produce this type of behavior. So whether it's some type of drama, or it might be something going on at home, they have to talk to somebody. We all have to talk to somebody. We have to develop relationships. We have to develop accountability, because that's really what keeps the world going around, us being connected to each other. So the key is communication.
Right. And I would also add to that person who is doing the bullying to think about putting yourself in that person's shoes, that person, whoever you're bullying, whatever you're doing to that person. How would you feel if someone bigger than you or older than you were treating you like that? And if someone is treating you like that, you do need to speak with somebody and tell them, because that's not a good feeling for you or anyone else. So that's something that you really need to consider. Yep. Now, Ashley, what was it like for you, elementary age, growing up and in school and stuff?
I was a major introvert.
I know you had a lot going on.
I had a lot going on. I was a major introvert, and I was just about my business. Like, even to this day, I'm very task oriented, and so I have to remember. I'll say I love you, but I have to remember to show you that type of affection. Otherwise, I'm Olivia Pope. I'm moving. You know what I'm saying? Like, did we do this? Did we do that? And so I was a very quiet, studious, student. And I was bullied. I was picked on about my height. I was always the shortest one in the classroom. And when I hit, I think 13, I had a major issue with this acne. Like, within those 2 years, 7th and 8th grade, I was just the epitome of just low self-esteem. And so, what I did, I put my time and energies into my academics, because for me, that gave me power. So I love to, hey, let's go ahead and work on my academics. Let's go ahead and achieve. I want to go to Harvard one day. So with me, I honed my energies into just learning. As a youth, or as a child, we had a few family vacations. I think my husband took more. I think they had more family, But visiting my grandfather in South Carolina, going to Myrtle Beach, going to Mississippi. When I was 7, going on 8 years old, we had our first cross-country trip in an old 1985, smelled like kids' diapers, Oldsmobile. And it was chaotic because, we had my sister who was screaming all over the place, because she has a mental disability. So her seizures would just kind of just go off. Then my baby brother, he was a toddler. And then I have one who is probably about 13 months younger than myself. And so you have 4 kids packed in the back seat. You have a sick mom. You have dad, and the Oldsmobile is breaking down, and it's just smoke everywhere. So that was our first, major trip. And my parents were from Chicago, Illinois, and my father, he travels in the military. So when he got stationed in Washington State, that's when he had the last 3 of us. So 4 of us all together. But I was never from Chicago at all. Like, I was born in Washington. So me coming to Chicago, my first neighborhood was Robbins, Illinois. So I'm telling you, culture shock. Like, I was like shell shock in the cat. And I was this little lily white black girl. And I was just like, what's going on? Why are people talking to me this way? Why is the ice cream man so rude? Why are people so it's just the traffic was fast. So yeah, it was just new experiences for us, and seeing the Sears Tower.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So did you guys know each other as kids, or you met each other later on in life?
We met each other as kids. So I told you that my mother had passed away.
Right.
January 20th. The next semester in the fall was when I met him.
Wow.
And so, you think that your life is ending. You think that there's no more destiny. You're grieving. And then God opens up a door. And I didn't know who he was, and I didn't like him. But God knew what was going on. But I didn't know. And I was, even after that, very much so, got really inside of myself, and walked into my 5th grade classroom, and I saw these big eyes and eyelashes looking at me, following me to my seat. And I had these big, those big long goddess braids. And so I walked to my chair, and he's still looking at me. And, over time he did, and throughout junior high school, but I wouldn't give him the time of day. But we were band heads, like really hard band geeks. And that's why we're so passionate about what we do. But we grew up together, competed together, and started liking each other. Like, it was real. We got deep. You mine and I'm yours.
Y'all wrote your name on a tree.
We didn't do that, but we were like, how you had a little notebook and you start writing a person's name in a heart and in their name, and together forever, and how many kids you're gonna have, and start fantasizing like your life. And
I'm cheesing over here. I love love. I'm sorry, y'all. I love love. I'm so excited.
Was puppy love, but it felt so real. Like, how you can fall in love with, your kids, and y'all see too much of each other. And it's on the phone, like, you sleep now. You sleep now.
Like, no, I'm not sleeping.
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, phone is still on the bed.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you there?
Drool,
yeah. I'm going to brush my teeth. I'll call you back.
Yeah. First person you see and the last person you see and the last person you hear. It's just so much.
That is awesome. Wow. From grade school.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. That's awesome. So let's fast forward to high school. Well, you guys answered one question. What did you envision your life to be when you grew up and got older? Like, did you envision yourself being where you are now in ministry and stuff like that?
I had no idea I'd be in ministry or doing anything ministry. I thought that I would give my life to God at 40 years old.
Okay.
Because I just need some time to live my life and do what I want to do. And I know that this God thing is just a little too serious, but I know I'm a Christian, but, I kind of want to just do my thing. God had it otherwise, like, but we always knew we were going to be together. Married. I think we thought we would have more money by now.
Don't everybody.
Don't we all?
Yes. You the same way? You weren't thinking about ministry?
Nah, I wasn't actually. I was in church, went to Christian school and all that stuff, but I never saw myself as a pastor, preacher, anything, of that. I didn't even really think that I was going to be a teacher.
What did you think you wanted to be?
Now, I had such an active imagination. I saw myself doing so much. I saw myself maybe being a doctor, being a lawyer, because a lot of that stuff is fed to you as a little boy.
Yeah,
you talk to your relatives. You're gonna be a doctor when you get older. You're smart. You're gonna, I'm thankful to have that level of encouragement. Especially from my next door neighbor. She was always encouraging me in that direction. But I would say probably for the longest, I thought I was going to be an architect. I found myself daydreaming in school, just drawing houses all the time. They didn't look too good, but the little, you draw the little triangle and the little lines, put a little whip, and I just thought that they were the bomb.com.
Call coming in. We have a call coming in.
You're on Everyday People Radio Show. You're live on the air.
Oh, good evening.
Good evening. How are you?
Yourself, thank you. I'm hoping I'm on time for the question.
For the what?
I good as far as with the question right now?
Yes, we are for questioning for Mr. and Mrs. Tapley. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the South Suburban area of Chicago, and Lynn.
What's your name?
Lynn.
Lynn. Okay, what's your question?
Hi, Lynn.
Okay, hi. I'd like to know your opinion in regards to Christian parents bringing their children into a place of fasting.
A place of what?
As far as fasting concerning children, maybe we'll say under the age of being responsible for their own choices and things. Young children up to maybe we'll say 16 or 15 years old.
Okay, I'm going to repeat the question. Are you saying, are you asking for wisdom with children fasting at a particular age?
Right, the guidance as far as parents, Christian parents bringing their children into fasting. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, it definitely must be something that they understand, because there's always an intent behind fasting. And what it's going to look like to them is like, oh, I'm being, you guys are holding back food from me, but they don't understand why they're fasting. Until they understand their salvation and what they're walking into, the fasting part is actually unnecessary for them. I wouldn't recommend them fasting if they don't understand what they're doing and the seriousness of what they're doing. Because fasting isn't to try to get God to move, it's to remove your flesh and your desires out the way. So, they're kids right now. They're going to act up. They haven't matured in their mindset. They haven't matured in their heart or in Christ. So, I would do that. And there are, Samuel was a young prophet, a priest. David was young. Who else? King Josiah was young, but they understood their role and position in the Word of God, in the kingdom of God. So if they're at a place where they're not mature, then you probably don't need to have them fasting. Now, I think I first started fasting maybe when I was about maybe 15, 16 or something like that. No, actually, I was 12 and the church made me do it. I didn't understand it, but I knew it was my birthday and I couldn't have any cake. And so I was a little upset about that. But to this day, I'm just like, I had no idea what I was really getting myself into. It has to be some level of understanding there. Otherwise, it's just religious. And so we don't want our kids to just be brought up in a tradition of fasting. We want their relationship with God to be intentional and that the glory of God is produced inside of their lives and not our lives. So we can't control, their outcome. You want to make them sing in a choir, get up there and sing, little Susie. That's awesome. Get up there and play the drums. That's great. But fasting, that's on a whole nother level. So I wouldn't recommend it if they're not mature and if they don't understand it. If they can't properly articulate it to you, then I wouldn't have them fast. That's just my recommendation.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the work.
No problem. God bless you. Thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was a good question.
Yeah, that was a real
They used to
good
make us
question.
fast at 7 and 8 and 9.
Wow.
I'm just like,
I remember that
I want a
Daniel fast.
cookie.
No meats, no sweets.
I'm hungry. It's just like, that's just starving the kids. Don't do that. That's just
Like they
child
have no
abuse.
clue. They're like, why?
I'm like, this is real people. This is real talk radio. Okay, don't do that to your babies.
Kids done snuck candy bars
I'm
upstairs already.
telling you. Shoot, I did.
I did.
Okay, let's fast forward to your high school years. How did your vision change on your future in high school?
Oh man, with me, as soon as I experienced the whole thing of high school band as it is, I was like, man, I want to be a band director. This is what I'm going to do. Man, I see myself doing this. I remember I was writing music. I was writing drills.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Henderson, look at this. What you think about this?
Yes.
Like I was actually getting on his nerves. I knew I was because I was
He
so
was passionate.
excited about it. I was so passionate about it. And he was like, no, man, see what you got to do is this. But I'm thankful for him. You know, he would take in the music and the band would actually play it. You
You said
know,
Mr. Anderson?
Mr. Anderson.
Okay.
Yeah. And he passed Mr. Keith
Love
Anderson.
you, Mr. Anderson.
Yeah.
Love
Yes.
you.
He was the bomb.com. Mr. Anderson, for a lot of us, it was like going to band was like our second family. We were there all day. He was the first person we saw when we got to school. He was the last person we saw when we got to school. We had jazz band at 7 a.m., symphony band around noon. We had practice from 3:30. He would say 5:30, but it was really till whenever. You know, we had the parents come up with the little lights. And sometimes if we really weren't on our stuff and we had like a big competition, it's like, man, we gonna stay here even longer. He even said, he was like, man, we about to have a lock-in because y'all tripping right now.
Okay. It's going down.
That's the old school band director.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I think I forgot that he actually directed you. I think I knew that, but I forgot until you just mentioned it. You guys can give us a call. The number is 708-223-8953, 708-223-8953. Do I need to repeat that again? 708-223-8953. Wow, that's awesome. And you know, I actually asked a few of the kids some questions for you. And basically, I'm just going to give you my answer in a nutshell, but I'm going to read to you exactly what they said because unfortunately, I didn't have the opportunity to write it down like I wanted to. But basically, they were saying that you were the best band director ever, and they love you and they miss you immensely. They said that you kept them knitted together. Basically, you made them feel like they were family. You kept them connected. You kept them focused on what they needed to do. You never, ever, ever let them give up. You never, ever, ever let them feel bad about themselves if they weren't, have everything perfectly on point. And you were just a blessing to those kids, and you're still a blessing to kids. But we miss you.
Those my babies.
We miss you
They my
so
babies.
much, so much. Yes, they all miss you. Brianna Hunt, Ilana, Isaiah Hunt. Yes, they miss you so much.
I've been watching. I've been keeping tabs. I saw the competition on Facebook. I'm
we some quiet stalkers.
Yes.
We some quiet.
Don't be
Frequent
quiet.
Y'all better
Don't be
get
quiet.
it.
Y'all got my
I'm
number
sorry.
now. So. They hung up.
Thought I heard it ring.
I did too, but they hung up, I guess. Call us back, 708-223-8953. You had the right number. Now, now you guys you're the CEO and the founder, and you're the co-founder of Tap Into Music. When did Tap Into Music start? And tell us about what Tap Into Music is.
Man, when did it start is a very interesting question, but I will say the official date will be 2014.
Yeah.
With me, like I told you, back in high school, I was writing music, I was writing drills. I mean, me and Ashley were giving private lessons in middle school. We had our own thing going as kids. We did. we started a company. It was called Young and Talented Black Musicians.
Okay.
That we started actually out of our middle school band. And I talked to my band director. I was like, his name was Mr. Walrab. He was the bomb.com. Man, that man. I'm telling you, he really pushed us. We used to travel all over the place, do competitions in middle school, and we were really good. We were really good. He was always pushing us to that next level. And I came up to him. I was like, Mr. Wildrat, man, I want to practice on Saturdays. Can we have like a Saturday practice? He was like, well, I gig on Saturdays, but you talk to your parents. Maybe you can start something at home or whatever. Talk to my parents. Used to have a band over my house in the living room. I'll move all the furniture out the way. We'll bring stands, sit out chairs, have pizza. And he would give me new music. I would ask him for new music. I would write music, and we would perform at certain venues. Then we eventually started calling it Young and Talented Black Musicians.
Nice.
I remember parents would call the phone number that I put on there was our house phone at the time. And I had questions about such and such and such and such. And me and my dad have the same name. So my name was on there. Ashley's name was on there. So they would call And my dad will pick up the phone because he's like, what's adult trying to talk to the kid for? So they figured it was my dad. And my dad was like, oh, man, you probably talking about my son. She's like, what? Your son? You know,
a little kid.
Right.
We just got our computer, and I was on Microsoft Works at the time. I was typing up letters.
We had grade books.
Wow.
We were teachers.
You guys were ahead of your time.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That's awesome. That's
I
what
was
kids
a secretary.
do. That's what kids are doing now. They're doing that now.
Yeah, I was a secretary.
And we had so much fun.
Yeah.
And everybody would bring in $5. We order a piece, and we just clown the rest of the Saturday.
Yeah.
Nice.
So if I would say where it started, I would probably say it started there. You know, we continued. You know, you graduate from high school, then we went all the way to college in Florida.
Got a call.
Oh, there's a caller.
You're on the air with Everyday People Radio Show. This is your host, April Deshawn. You're with Frederick and Ashley Tapley. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Donna Lowe.
Hey, Donna.
Go.
How you doing?
Wonderful. These are my people.
Hey, that's Donna P.
Hey, I love you guys. Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Love you.
Love you. Thank you for calling in.
What is a good age to introduce a child to music?
Man, you
Zero.
can introduce it to them in the womb.
Yeah, in the womb.
You know, you can put a little radio. You know, put it on low. Set it right next to your belly while they cooking in the oven.
Are you talking about specifically instrumental music or vocal? What are you talking about?
Like instrument? Like my grandson is 4.
Uh-huh.
He's 4. Is that too soon?
Well, it all depends on how big his fingers are. So we start as young as 6, but if their fingers are big enough, if they're 4, they can start on piano then. You know, at 4.
Yeah, piano is probably the best instrument to start a child out on if they're like 4 years old.
Yes.
Because around 4 years old, their fingers are big enough to at least, you know, play the keys. You know, so that's a really good time actually to introduce them to piano.
Yes, and when they get older, as they get bigger, then they can get on some type of horn. You know. So
okay.
Yes.
Well, I thank you guys because you know I'm gonna push him.
Come on.
Okay.
Bring it through.
We'll bring it through. We got him.
Thank you for giving us a call. You have a blessed day and happy Valentine's Day.
Yes,
again.
Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for calling.
Guys.
Love you too,
Love
Donna.
you too.
You're on the air, Everyday People Radio Show. What's your name and where are you calling from?
And I have a question for your speaker.
What was your name?
Mert.
Mert.
Hey.
Go ahead with your question.
Okay, I would like to know if you have teenagers or preteens that have gay friends. Your teenager, she's not gay or anything, but she has gay friends that she likes to hang around with. Mm-hmm. How would you handle that situation without just coming out telling her that, you know, that's not a good thing?
I would definitely say love. You know, just continue to show love. You know, you never want to, I guess, cause a gay friend to feel estranged. You don't want to push them away, you know, but you want to make sure that, like if it's your son or if it's your daughter that's hanging around them, you know, make sure they stay rooted in the word, you know, but make sure that they show love, because that's really what's going to break boundaries. It's going to break those barriers, and it's actually going to draw them to Christ, you know, walking in love.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
That was a really good question.
Thanks, Mrs. B.
Thank you for calling in.
And happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much.
I will also say to that question that you don't want to make your child feel ostracized, because when you say don't do it, that's the thing that they do.
Right.
So you want to, like for me, I never chose my kids' friends. They had some, you know, people that have passed through their life that was less than desirable. I talked to them, you know, I let them know, you know, what I saw. And, you know, I would be like, you know, think about this and watch this and, you know, that kind of thing, you know, keep them in prayer over your kids and just let God do what he needs to do.
Yeah.
So that'll kind of help keep the peace too, and keep your kids from, you know, pushing away from you because they feel like you're trying to keep them away from something that they love.
Yeah, it all starts with those family values.
At
you know,
home.
what are you instilling in your children? and making sure they stay rooted and grounded in your vision for your child,
Right.
because parents know best. Parents know best for their children. You carried them, you had them. This is what I see for your future. And, going down this right, you might want to reevaluate this.
Yeah.
This looks different than what I saw for you, but just make sure, just love on them, love on your kids, love on everybody.
Absolutely.
I mean, you might have a boss that's in the lifestyle. How are we going to treat your boss? Because they're in the lifestyle, you're going to disrespect them. Everybody deserves they deserve love.
Yes.
But it does not mean that you accept it. You just don't degrade them or dehumanize them.
Absolutely.
That's already been done to them. So, there's a way. There's definitely a way.
Amen. Now, tell us what services you provide at Tap Into Music.
Okay. Our flagship service is our private lessons. That's our bread and butter. We have a saying that is more than music. I know you were talking about the experience, in the band program with Brianna and my little babies. It's more than music. It really is. Music is a gateway. Music is the avenue by way we teach leadership, we build character, we connect people, we build those family values and push them forward even into what they're trying to do. So private lessons is one. We also write music. Arrangements, compositions, for marching bands.
Drill writing.
Yeah, we'll do drill writing. We've also done a project actually for the Museum of Contemporary Art. What was that? 2011, I want to say. Yeah. 2011. It was a production. And it was an artist in residency there. She was doing a documentary, and she, I got actually connected with this person by one of my mentors, and she was like, "Hey, can you write this music for my documentary?" And I was like, "Whoa, this is big." So it's not just marching bands. We write music for whatever. We'll make an original composition. Say, for instance, you getting married, and man, I just want a song that just deals with love, or I want a song that tells my story. Whatever the case may be. It's all about music.
Absolutely. Okay. How will people contact you?
Oh, we got several different ways.
We have Facebook.com. We have our
on Facebook. Do they just look at Tap Into Music?
Yes, they just go right to the page, or they can go to our personal page. We have Inspire at tapintomusic.com. That is our email address. That's INSPIRE at tapintomusic.com. We're also on Twitter and Instagram, and we have our number if you want to call our number to find out more about our services. Honey, number
708-792-3752.
Okay, awesome. I'm gonna repeat this again at the end so everybody can make sure they have the information. Have you both always loved kids?
Yes. I think he's always wanted to have more kids than I did, or wanted to be around more kids. Me, I'm like, I got my select few, grew up with the youngsters. So, but yeah, a lot of kids and a really big band. That's what we want.
I remember when before we got married, I was like, baby, you ready? Because we finna have 9 kids. And she would look at me like I was crazy. I'm serious. I want to have 9 kids. I want to have a big family.
Oh, the website, www.tapintomusic.com. We also have an apprenticeship program and internship program. So our program, it doesn't just deal with private music lessons from 6 to 18. We deal with the total person. So this is something that's specifically catered to the individual. If you're coming up in music and you want to major in music, you could always come back to Tap Into Music for the internship experience. You could always come back for the apprenticeship experience if you want your own business here, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to start your own company. We're actually training those in that area. So we're looking at college people on that level. So, we're never done with the student.
Awesome.
Yes.
How much time do I have? Got a while? 10 minutes? Okay. All right. I'm trying to get through this. Ask my favorite questions.
Yeah, let's get out the way for your question.
Frederick, I'll put you on the spot.
Shucks.
Tell us about you guys' first date, actual date. How old were you guys? Since you've known each other from elementary school, how old were you when you had your first date? And tell us about it.
Let's see. That was freshman year of high school. Before that, See, Ashley was a tough cookie. Ashley had me pursuing her for a whole year. Man, you talking, man.
If you're not on my level, then we can't
I was coming at her hard, 8th grade, all the way through freshman year, and it finally came down to April of our freshman year. Haha, April.
Yes. And my birthday's in April, just so you guys know. April 7th is my birthday, yes.
It came down to April of our freshman year. I remember we were at my friend's church. It was like a youth night. And I just kept coming. I was like, baby, you know you want to be with me. And I was like, what? Hold on. She's speaking in her defenses. Did she say yes today? She said yes. And after that, I didn't really know what to do. I remember I spilled a drink on her.
He was messing up already. He was messing up.
I got clumsy. I was like, wait a minute, hold on. She said yes. Wait, we're an item now?
The whole drink went in my lap.
Wow.
He just couldn't keep himself.
Yeah, I was.
Wait, what's that movie with Will Smith? Well, he was teaching everybody how to get women, but then when he got the woman he wanted, he was knocking her in the head.
I think he was nervous.
Yes.
Yeah. I was nervous. I was like, after that, I was like, wait, what do I do now? Oh my gosh, I worked so hard for this moment. She said, yeah, I don't know what to do now. And I can't believe that, man, I was beating myself up over it. I was like, dang, dude, you messed it up, man. She might break up with you tomorrow. But from then, we were inseparable. Specific dates, we were inseparable from that moment.
The summertime. We were like seeing each other every day because we got together on April 12th of 2001, and that entire summer we spent like every day together.
Awesome.
We'll wake up in the morning. She lived in Country Club Hills. I lived in Hazel Crest. We will walk
and meet each other
across city to meet up with each other, to go to the park, to hang out all day till them street lights came on and go back home.
Awesome. Well, how long for your courtship before you popped the question?
Our courtship was a little interesting. I don't think we had time to go into that.
No, I just want to know how long it was
Okay. Well, we got together in 2001. We didn't get married until 2014.
Okay.
And
were you expecting it?
All in my heart and my spirit, it's like I always knew.
Mm-hmm.
But then there were some seasons where you really just couldn't tell. You know, life kind of looked a little funny, and it was just kind of, well, let's go about our way. But then I can't get enough of you, but I got to stay around you. But
right.
I'm gonna be
but
around.
I can't
but
stand
I'm not
you.
really
But I don't even want to talk to you today.
But let me kind of like just still stay. You know, it was stuff like that. But got together in 2001, but got married in 2014. So we've been each other's face for a long time.
Awesome. So how did you feel that day when you decided I'm going to ask her today to marry me?
Man, I was nervous. I was excited. I thought I was going to blow my own surprise, actually. So I actually proposed to her. We were courting and we were taking photos, and I actually proposed to her while we were taking our photos. I had the ring hidden in my sock.
Like, oh, something wrong with my foot. My foot hurt. Oh.
And she's like, oh my God, because we were outside in the woods, Well, it was more like a park.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was trees around. It was a pond around and everything. And I took it. I was like, oh, baby, my foot. I did something to my foot. I popped it out with on these. And she acted a plum fool.
Yeah.
What did you do?
I think I did, the usual. I think I did that. That kind of went.
Did you cry?
And then I think I had to take in the moment that was a ring in my face because we were taking engagement photos. I knew that, but I didn't know when the ring was coming. And it's different when the ring comes out.
It's
because it becomes so official at that time. Like I didn't know you were ring shopping. And so after that, he was like, wait, I didn't get it. The camera, he's like, do it again. I said, I got to recreate that moment. So the photo is kind of like,
It's actually the photo you have on Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
The black and white photo. That's actually the day.
That's the day. Yeah, that was the day.
That is perfect. Good.
I was actually really sick that day, and I almost didn't make it to the photo shoot. I was like really glad I did because,
Do either of you have a favorite genre of music, or you eclectic?
Man.
I pretty much listen to everything, but I do have my preferences. What I'm listening to in the car all the time is pretty much gospel rap, jazz, And I love instrumentals because the thing about instrumentals, you know, life is so fast paced. You get so busy, but you need that time of focus. You need something that's actually going to bring you all the way down, slow your thoughts down, and I can just chill and relax, you know. So I love string instrumentals, piano instrumentals, because it gets me in that place of being creative too.
Yeah, same thing with me. I love instrumentals, classical instrumentals. Like even when I'm listening to worship music, it's not the usual Mississippi Mass Choir. It's just not that. It's the guitar, the acoustic, let's worship. So yeah, and I love gospel rap. I've gotten into KB. You know, I got into the truth. I was like, I thought, I was like, well, I can get with this. They speaking something right here. Mm-hmm. You know, I love jazz. So yeah.
Yeah, it's just you have to listen to the lyrics. A lot of people say gospel rap, but no, just listen to the lyrics. I'm a lyrics person.
Yeah,
I'm a lyrics person, so that's what I listen for. I listen for what's the substance of what you're saying. Absolutely. Even with poetry, what's the substance? What are you talking about? Is it something important, or are you just speaking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just talking.
Yeah. That's important.
Definitely love the message.
Couple more questions, and then we're going to be out of here. What is your talk about your wedding day from both of your perspectives? Like I know for a lot of people that wedding day is like, you see Brazilla and people like, you're not gonna ruin my wedding. Get my whatever. You're just going crazy that day.
Man, the wedding day for me, I was excited for what was about to happen, but I was a nervous wreck. My groomsmen actually took me out for breakfast. We went to Blueberry Hill in Homewood. Okay. So we were cracking jokes. We were hanging out. We had breakfast. They treated me for breakfast and everything. And then I just kept checking stuff. I was like, man, I just don't forget something. The ring. Who got the ring? This, and this, and that. What about the drums? This, and this, and that. Like I was just thinking about all these logistics at the last minute. Did I do this right? Did I follow through with making sure that I confirmed that everybody was going to be there? This, So I'm going through that in my head, and it comes down close to the time of when we had to show up to the wedding venue, and drums went in place. Like I had to call in a favor. I had to call one of my friends. I was like, hey, I know this last minute, but I need your drum set. I know you got rehearsal today, but I really need your drum set.
I know you got rehearsal today.
I know you got jazz band rehearsal, but
I got important.
So I went up there and with one of my groomsmen, we got the drum set, brought it back to the venue. Man, I didn't have no white socks. So I had to run out and get some socks. So it was a lot of last minute running around because I was nervous. It's like I could not settle down. I was so excited. And all the way up until it was time to start the ceremony, it's like my nerves really got in. Like I'm in this room, the little holding room before you come down and the start. And I'm so nervous. I started feeling sick. I felt like I was going to pass out. I felt like I was about to throw up. And my pastors are in there with me. I was like, can we please pray? I feel sick. And they was like, oh, Freddie, you straight, man. What you talking about?
Of course they did.
and of course they prayed. And after they prayed, it's like my nerves, they chilled out, But they was laughing at me. They was like, dude, are you serious, man?
Man, y'all been together for 100 years. What you mean?
Man, they was talking about it. But it was good times. And it's like, man, it was just the beginning of the best years of my life.
How was it for you, Ashley?
I was excited, but I was irritated at the same time. Honestly, like real talk. Well, one, I didn't have shoes up until probably about 30 minutes before I came to the venue. I didn't have any wedding shoes because I think we got married in the fall. So, white shoes, sparkly stuff, they're not available in that season. So I thought I was going to be wearing some red stilettos up under a dress or something. But anyway, I walked in and everybody
make it hot.
Yeah, well, I found the shoes. I did. I was actually with my Apostle Carrie. She did my makeup and everything. Love you, Apostle. Hi. But I was annoyed because people were asking me questions and I gave you the instructions over and over again. You don't know when to walk down the aisle. You don't know where you should be lined up. And it was a little interesting. But overall, it was such a beautiful day because When I walked in, everything was so gorgeous. I felt like I was walking through a tunnel. That's what it felt like. And so just very excited. You know, you always have those people that just don't act right at the wedding or at the funeral or at the family reunion. But hey, it was beautiful. So very excited.
Yeah, I actually was about to cry.
Yeah, he actually was tearing up while I was walking down the aisle.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And then you saw her and you was like, there goes my baby.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, as soon as she entered that door, came down the aisle, it was just like, oh my God. And I was like,
you were shouting inside. Thank you, Lord.
Right. I was like, I cannot cry. My cousin, my boys behind me.
His chest was like.
And you had to lean down, you had to get that glory tear out. That Denzel Washington glory tear. Man, there's something in my eye, my allergies.
Like his nose was red. He was like,
right.
You know what I mean? Because I was about business. I didn't have time for all that crying.
I'm going to ask you guys.
All right, is everybody in place?
One more quick question. But before I ask the question, I'm going to just say that you are truly missed at Thornwood. You are truly missed. They have a brand director, but you are missed. Them kids really miss you. They love you. At the end of your life, what would you want to have accomplished with Tap Into Music specifically?
I want Tap Into Music to go all over the world. I really, I want to see lives changed. I want to see families healed. I want to see a different mindset and a different outlook on life. Music can do that to people. I want to leave a rich legacy for my children also. But it's something. It's bigger than what we're seeing now. I really want to see it globally in action. There's so much more to it that we're developing, but I want to see a global reach.
We also wanted to begin to change societies for real, like turn them around, like low income communities, low impoverished communities. We really wanted to turn around so that people can have an avenue to get to college. And the best avenue is music. So yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that is Ashley and Frederick Tapley. You guys can contact them on Facebook at Tap Into Music. The website is www.tapintomusic.com. Inspire at tapintomusic.com. Also Twitter. The number to call them is 708-792-3752. The music that you've heard today is by Black Butterfly. You can go on CD Baby and find her music, iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. Right now, we're going to end the show with Mannerism, and his CD can be located also on any major music sites, Tidal, Spotify, Deezer, Groove, Pandora, Apple Music. You guys enjoy the art, and I look forward to see you again next Wednesday at Everyday People Radio Show on Intellectual Radio and iHeart Radio Station. God bless you and be a blessing. Peace.
After the separation, putting half of your finances in separation after the court litigation. Separating your children after the infidel situation, causing the custody dissipation. Need to share legislation, martial law putting you under a regulation. Need to share demonic, Masonic infiltration. Need to share a new world order impartation. Nothing shall be able to separate us from a love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. For I am persuaded that neither death of our friend, foe, dead, sister, bro, niece, nephew, cousin, or any kinfolks, neither the death of your income, your license being revoked, bill collectors you want to choke. Not the vodka, the rum, the booze, the brews, the gin, the dope. Not the side screen contact smoke. Nor the pill popping, nor the sniffing the coke. Nor your car, furniture, house being repossessed on the fact that you just dead broke. Nothing shall be able to separate us from the love of God, which is in Christ Jesus our Lord. Neither catastrophic, diabolical, massive, massacre, or destruction. Neither tsunami, earthquake, sinkhole, epidemic, outbreak, plague, cause of molecular, physical corruption. Neither H-bomb nor A-bomb, asteroid, meteor, or comet.